Same story, different seasons. Arsenal rise, Arsenal fall. Arsenal fans left wondering, is this just bad luck? Or is this club allergic to winning? Every year, Arsenal promises. Every year, Arsenal dreams. And every year, just when it really matters, they crumble. Is it fate? Or is this club just not built to win? Today, we dissect Arsenal's 2024 through 25 season. Are they truly unlucky? Or are they just Netflix FC? Ask an Arsenal supporter why their championship hopes are finished, and they'll be more than happy to explain. And honestly, they're right too. If football was about luck, then Arsenal would have won the Premier League already. Because trust me, this team has had every bad luck you could think of come its way this year. Where to begin with the refereeing? It's as if Arsenal have been playing 12 men all season. Every big game is followed by a disputed call against them, a dubious penalty given to an opponent, a clear foul not whistled when Arsenal are pushing forward. And the red cards, it's almost ridiculous at this point. Some were careless mistakes, of course, but others, they appeared harsh. And in a title race where every point counts, those choices count. Take the North London Derby when Arsenal received a red card in the first half that completely turned the game around. Or the game against Liverpool when VAR took 5 minutes to draw lines only to disallow a perfectly legitimate Arsenal goal by the narrowest of margins. These are not one-off events. They have happened game after game. And the lost points as a result of these actions could be the difference between winning the league and second place for the second time. And then, naturally, there are the injuries. All teams get them, but Arsenal, it's like they lose them at the worst possible moments. William Saliba, their best or indeed only defender, misses key games. Bukayo Saka, their talisman, looks jaded, the weight of expectation hanging heavily on his inexperienced shoulders. Thomas Partey, once the metronome of their midfield, only manages to play 5 games before he locks up again. The injuries haven't just affected their individual games, they've made Arteta scrap his tactics completely. When Odegaard was injured in October, Arsenal lost their creative momentum for 6 significant games. When Gabriel Jesus was not on the field,
breaking news, and that is that Gabriel Jesus has suffered a rupture to his ACL. We know what happens with ACL injuries. It looks like he is going to be out for at least.
Arsenal did not have an attacking reference point. The bench is not deep enough to cover such absences. And unlike Manchester City, who can trade a world-class player with another world-class player, Arsenal frequently finds itself forced to use academy players or those not yet ready for the heat. It's hard to win a title when your best players are always missing. And when it all comes together, dodgy refereeing, incessant red cards, a squad torn apart by injuries, it's easy to believe that Arsenal have just been unlucky. But is that the whole story? Or is it just a cop-out? The statistics bear some of these claims out. Arsenal has received more red cards than any other of the top 6 this season. They've had more decisions go against them via VAR than for them. And they've lost more player days to injury than Manchester City and Liverpool combined. These are not simply sentiments or complaints of displeased fans. The statistics demonstrate that Arsenal have faced more issues than their title rivals. And still, somehow, they were in it until the final couple of weeks of the season. Does that demonstrate strength, or simply make the eventual failure all the more agonizing? But before we get into it, welcome to the channel. If you love football analysis, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It helps the channel grow, and you won't miss any of our future breakdowns. Now let's get into it. While Arsenal fans talk about bad luck, they also talk about next season, every single year. The truth is, Arsenal have been in this position before. The strong start, the belief, the excitement, then just when it matters, they fold under pressure. It happened last season when they had an 8-point lead over Manchester City, only to collapse when City kicked into gear. This season, it's the same thing. When the title race got tight, Arsenal started dropping points, started making costly mistakes, started crumbling. We saw it against West Ham when they were leading and conceded 2 sloppy goals. We saw it against Fulham when basic defensive errors cost them all 3 points. And we saw in the crucial match against Manchester City where the occasion seemed too big and the team played with fear instead of confidence. These weren't bad luck. They were signs of a team that still doesn't know how to get over the line when the pressure reaches its peak. Why? Is it mental weakness? Because let's be honest, winning a title isn't just about playing good football. It's about handling pressure, about showing up when it really matters. Manchester City don't have excuses. Liverpool under Klopp never looked for sympathy. They just won. Arsenal? They seem to be stuck in a loop, always competitive, never champions. Even the body language tells a story. When Arsenal went behind against Brighton in that crucial April game, heads dropped immediately. Compare that to Manchester City, who conceded against Wolves but kept pushing as if nothing happened, eventually winning 3-1. It's that resilience, that absolute refusal to accept defeat that separates champions from contenders. Arsenal has improved in this area. 5 years ago, they would have finished 6th or 7th with these setbacks, but they still haven't developed the killer instinct that defines true champions. And then, there's Mikel Arteta. There's no denying he's an elite coach, but is he truly ready to win at the highest level? His tactics are praised when things go well, but when they don't, it starts to look like he's out of ideas. He's young, he's learning. But how long can Arsenal afford to be his experiment? His substitutions in big games have raised questions. Against Liverpool, he waited until the 78th minute to make changes when the team was clearly struggling. Against Manchester City, he stuck with a plan that wasn't working until it was too late. The emotional reactions on the sideline might show passion, but sometimes what's needed is calm, calculated decision-making. His mentor, Pep Guardiola, has mastered the art of making the right tactical tweaks at precisely the right moment. Arteta still seems to be figuring it out. The improvement under him is clear, but the final step from good to great is the hardest one to take, and patience in football only lasts so long. And finally, the biggest issue, the excuses. Arsenal fans talk about referees, talk about injuries, talk about bad luck, but winners don't complain. Winners find a way. If you spend more time blaming outside factors than fixing what's in your control, you will never be champions. That's the harsh truth. Look at what happened after that controversial defeat to Newcastle. Arsenal spent a whole week talking about refereeing standards instead of focusing on the next game. Meanwhile, Manchester City lost a Champions League quarterfinal to a questionable penalty, and what did they do? They simply won their next 5 league games without saying a word about it. That's the difference in mentality. Arsenal seems to have built a culture where there's always something or someone else to blame. The players hear it, the fans believe it, and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Then things go wrong. The first instinct is to look outward instead of inward. Arsenal doesn't have a bad team. They don't have a bad coach. But what they do have, a bad habit. A habit of believing in next season instead of seizing the moment now. In January, when they needed reinforcements to push them over the line, they hesitated in the transfer market. Other title-winning teams would have identified their weaknesses and fixed them immediately, regardless of cost. Instead, Arsenal waited for the perfect deal that never came. They've been needing a world-class striker for 3 seasons now, yet they keep hoping someone in the squad will suddenly become that 25-goal striker. This pattern repeats year after year. Almost good enough, but never making that final decisive move that shows they're all in on winning now, not tomorrow. That project has become a comfort blanket, a way to always keep hope just over the horizon rather than demanding success today. So what's the reality? Was Arsenal unlucky? Yes. But are they also a team that always finds a reason not to win? Also yes. The data shows they faced more adversity than their rivals this season. The eye test shows they still crumble in the most important moments. Both things can be true at once. The painful reality for Arsenal fans is watching a team that's close enough to taste success, but repeatedly falls short in the final stretch. And each time it happens, it gets harder to believe the next time will be different. The psychological scars build up. For the players, for the manager, for the fans. You can see it in the nervous energy at the Emirates in those final crucial home games. Everyone waiting for something to go wrong, and often, it does. Luck plays a role in football, but the best teams make their own luck. They adapt, they overcome. They don't spend years blaming the same problems, they fix them. Until Arsenal does that, they will remain what they've been for years, almost there, but never quite champions. Manchester United under Ferguson would respond to a title loss by signing a Van Persie or a Ferdinand. Liverpool under Klopp responded to finishing second by signing Alisson and Van Dijk. Arsenal needs that same ruthlessness to look in the mirror after another season of what-ifs and make decisive changes. Not just in personnel, but in mentality. The foundation is there, the quality is there. But that final ingredient, that champion's edge that turns nearly men into winners, that's what Arsenal still needs to find. And until they do, this cycle will continue, with fans always looking toward next season instead of celebrating this one. So what do you think? Is Arsenal truly cursed, or is this club stuck in a cycle of near misses and excuses? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next deep dive into the biggest football stories. See you next time.